The story begins inside an elite fertility clinic, a place that represents privilege, control, and social power rather than warmth or compassion. Carla is quietly waiting for her appointment when her past abruptly confronts her in the most uncomfortable way possible. Her ex-husband Alex arrives with his new wife, Melissa, instantly disrupting the calm atmosphere. The reunion is not emotional or nostalgic. It is sharp, humiliating, and filled with unspoken resentment. Melissa immediately establishes dominance through her tone, her body language, and her obsession with appearances. She treats the clinic like a luxury showroom and treats Carla like an unwanted intruder, questioning her presence and implying that someone like her does not belong in such an expensive space. Alex's behavior is just as telling. Though quieter, he avoids eye contact, offers no defense, and allows Melissa's cruelty to unfold without interruption. His silence speaks louder than words, revealing emotional detachment and a desire to distance himself from his past life. This moment confirms for Carla that the man she once loved has transformed into someone driven entirely by status, wealth, and image. The clinic setting intensifies the humiliation, as fertility, an already sensitive and personal subject, is turned into a battleground for social comparison. Melissa's insults are deliberate and calculated. She flaunts her diamond bracelet, belittles Carla's career and income, and reduces her to someone insignificant and disposable. Her language is sharp, designed to wound, and rooted in the belief that money equals worth. Carla, however, does not respond with anger or desperation. She remains composed, choosing restraint over retaliation, which quietly exposes the contrast between them. While Melissa appears powerful on the surface, her behavior reveals insecurity and cruelty, whereas Carla's silence reflects inner strength and dignity. The clinic staff's intervention further highlights the imbalance. While confidentiality and respect are emphasized, Melissa twists the conversation to assert her superiority, boasting about exclusive donor lists and elite genetics. Parenthood, in her view, is not about love or nurturing, but about producing perfection and maintaining social rank. This opening confrontation lays the emotional foundation of the story, establishing themes of arrogance versus humility, appearance versus substance, and past wounds colliding with present realities. From the very first scene, the audience understands that this is not just a reunion between former partners, but a collision between two completely different values, setting the stage for the reversal and justice that will follow. As the story moves forward, the focus shifts from the initial confrontation to Carla's quiet reflection and emotional reality. After Melissa and Alex are called in for their appointment, the tension lingers in the air, leaving Carla alone with her thoughts. This moment reveals the emotional weight she carries from her past marriage. She recalls a time when Alex was not cold or obsessed with status, but simply ambitious. Their shared dreams once felt balanced, built on mutual effort and hope. Over time, however, ambition turned into obsession, and nothing was ever enough for him. Success did not bring satisfaction, only hunger for more power, more wealth, and more validation. Carla's memories are not filled with bitterness, but with clarity. She recognizes that the divorce was not sudden or shocking, but the result of years of emotional erosion. Being traded in for someone younger, richer, and more image-driven hurt deeply. Yet she no longer defines herself by that rejection. Her words show acceptance rather than self-pity. This emotional maturity sets her apart from Melissa, whose confidence depends entirely on external validation. Carla's sense of worth comes from within, shaped by compassion, purpose, and resilience. The interaction with the clinic staff reinforces this contrast. Unlike Melissa, Carla is treated with kindness and respect, highlighting that dignity is not tied to wealth. The staff's casual empathy and understanding provide a subtle reminder that real value is often recognized quietly. Carla hopes to leave before another encounter with her ex, revealing not fear but a desire for peace. She does not want drama or confrontation. She wants to move forward without reopening old wounds. This section deepens the audience's connection to Carla by humanizing her. She is not portrayed as weak or defeated, but as someone who has grown beyond her past pain. The clinic becomes a symbolic crossroads between who she was and who she has become. While Alex and Melissa chase perfection and exclusivity, Carla seeks meaning and honesty. This emotional grounding prepares the audience for the story's turning point, where inner strength will outweigh status, and integrity will quietly triumph over arrogance. The tension intensifies when the doctor reveals that the clinic has found an exceptional donor. Egg match for Alex and Melissa. What initially feels like a moment of triumph for them quickly turns into shock and disbelief when they discover that the donor is Carla. This revelation flips the power dynamic of the story. The woman they belittled, dismissed, and publicly humiliated is suddenly positioned as the source of everything they desire most. The clinic's clinical language emphasizes genetics, compatibility, and strength, stripping away the superficial judgments that Alex and Melissa rely on to define worth. Melissa's reaction exposes her deepest insecurities. Her outrage is not rooted in logic or ethics, but in wounded pride. She cannot accept that Carla, whom she considers inferior, could possess something more valuable than her diamonds, influence, or social status. Her anger reveals fear of comparison, fear of being overshadowed, and fear that perfection cannot be bought. Alex's response, in contrast, is disturbingly practical. He treats the situation as a transaction, reducing reproduction to a business decision. His willingness to proceed, despite the emotional implications, exposes how far he has drifted from empathy. This moment also highlights the clinic's neutrality. The medical process does not care about social hierarchy or personal history. Biology becomes an equalizer, quietly dismantling the illusion that money guarantees superiority. Carla's genetics are deemed exceptional not because of wealth or image, but because of health, compatibility, and integrity. This silent judgment from science itself delivers a powerful message about true value. As the conversation unfolds, Carla's discomfort becomes evident. She is not driven by revenge or superiority, but by boundaries and principle. When Alex attempts to buy her compliance, it reinforces everything she has already learned about him. His belief that everything has a price exposes the moral emptiness behind his success. Carla's refusal to accept money is a turning point, asserting her agency and dignity. This key moment reframes the narrative. Carla is no longer a passive observer of her past. She stands firmly in the present, grounded in her values. The reveal of the donor match does more than shock the characters, it exposes character truths, dismantles false hierarchies, and sets the stage for consequences that money and influence can no longer control. The consequences begin to unfold once Carla sets her conditions, forcing Melissa and Alex to confront the cost of their arrogance. What started as an attempt to control the situation through money and influence turns into public accountability. Melissa, who has carefully curated an image of perfection and superiority, is pushed into a position of visible humility. By agreeing to donate her diamond bracelet and publicly acknowledge Carla, her power shifts from dominance to exposure. The same platforms she once relied on for status and admiration now magnify her discomfort and shame. The viral video becomes a turning point. Instead of sympathy, Melissa is met with widespread criticism, and the public sees through the entitlement and cruelty she previously hid behind luxury and confidence. Her influencer persona collapses under scrutiny, revealing insecurity and desperation beneath the polished surface. The social rejection that follows is swift and unforgiving. Invitations disappear, doors close, and the elite circles she prized begin to distance themselves. In the world Melissa worships, perception is everything, and once that perception cracks, status evaporates. Alex's response to this downfall exposes the fragility of his character. Rather than showing support or accountability, he lashes out, placing blame everywhere except on himself. His language becomes cold and transactional, reducing marriage to image management and social utility. When Melissa no longer serves his ambitions, he discards her emotionally, mirroring how he once discarded Carla. His obsession with status blinds him to loyalty, Love and responsibility. The arrival of law enforcement marks the collapse of Alex's illusion of control. The same confidence that once intimidated others proves useless in the face of real consequences. His arrest for fraud and bribery symbolizes poetic justice, as the man who believed everything could be bought is finally confronted by a system that money cannot easily escape. Power shifts decisively away from him. This sequence reinforces a central truth of the story. Cruelty and greed are unstable foundations. When success is built on manipulation and image, it cannot withstand exposure. As Alex and Melissa unravel, the narrative makes clear that their downfall is not sudden or unfair. It is the natural result of choices driven by entitlement, vanity, and disregard for others. The final resolution centers on quiet justice and emotional balance, where dignity, compassion, and integrity prevail over greed and cruelty. As Alex and Melissa's lives implode, Carla's journey comes full circle, not through revenge, but through purposeful action. While others are consumed by public disgrace and legal consequences, Carla remains steady, grounded in her values. Her strength lies not in dominance, but in generosity and restraint. She does not seek applause, yet her choices ripple outward, creating meaningful change. Carla's decision to redirect her donation toward a couple who genuinely long for a child highlights the contrast between entitlement and gratitude. Where Alex and Melissa treated parenthood as a status symbol, this couple sees it as a dream rooted in love and commitment. Their joy is unfiltered, their hope sincere, and their appreciation profound. Through them, the story restores the emotional weight of family and reminds us that worthiness is not measured by wealth, influence, or pedigree. The revelation that Carla herself is the egg donor adds a deeply personal layer to the ending. It transforms her earlier pain into something life-giving, turning a chapter of rejection into one of creation and renewal. This act is not framed as sacrifice, but as empowerment. Carla chooses how her story continues, reclaiming control in the most meaningful way possible. The life that will come from her choice symbolizes continuity, healing, and the quiet triumph of empathy over ego. Unlike the dramatic downfall of Alex and Melissa, Carla's victory is subtle but lasting. She gains no headlines, no viral fame, yet she walks away with something far more valuable: peace, respect, and the knowledge that she acted with purpose. The clinic, once a place of humiliation, becomes a place of hope. The narrative closes not with punishment alone, but with balance restored. In the end, the story affirms that true power lies in character. When ambition is guided by compassion, it builds something real. When it is driven by vanity, it destroys itself. Carla's path proves that integrity may move quietly, but it always moves forward, leaving something better behind. True value is not measured by wealth or status. It's defined by integrity, compassion, and the lives we choose to uplift. Subscribe for more powerful stories. Like, share, and watch the next story now.